Good?
Yeah.
Alright, Shalom.
Shalom.
Almost want to say
Halal Yahweh, Hashem Yahushai, Hashem Kakadash.
Double honors to the apostles and the elders of great millstone. The salutations to the elect, which is word and truth and sincerity across the four corners of the earth. We're going to read Jeremiah.
You have to talk louder because the cards.
Talk louder?
Yeah.
We're going to read Jeremiah, the 50.
Come closer to
The 51st.
Yeah, yeah.
51st?
Yeah, 51st chapter. Jeremiah 51.
This is Jeremiah 51. Thus saith Yahweh, behold, I will rise up against Babylon, against them that dwell in the midst of them, rise up against me.
Babylon that it's talking about is America today. America today is spiritual Egypt and Babylon. How do you know? Well, if you go into the customs and the traditions that the Egyptians were into, the Babylonians were into, America is living in those customs and in those traditions right now. It's keeping them. Also Rome as well.
A destroying wind.
That's right, a destroying wind. Right now the wind's blowing on us, but it hasn't destroyed anything. The type of wind it's talking about is the wind that comes from these nuclear missiles, ICBM missiles. We got a very hot wind. If I'm not mistaken, they said that the heat that comes from these winds, from the missiles, when they hit and the wind blows off, it's the closest that we have to the heat of the sun. So the wind alone coming from the missile will evaporate people.
Yeah, it's 100 million kelvins.
100 million kelvins.
Yeah.
So that's insane. You get 30-degree burns putting your hands in 350 degrees Celsius. But the missiles are 100 million.
Hey, do you brothers know what? Hey, you brothers know what Babylon means?
No, I was actually just searching it up, but what I understood from him is that Babylon is America today. That's what I understood. But I was about to ask, what is Babylon?
Well, I have the definition here. It's a Hebrew word, and it's called Babel, right? That's what they call it, or Babal. That's the real pronunciation, and it means confusion by mixing. And another reason why this place is called Babylon the Great, because they call it a melting pot. Like Toronto, it's a metropolis. You have different people from all over the world coming here and living, right? So there's a lot of confusion, and a lot of these people in here, they don't know who they are, what biblical nationality they come from. So that's just a part of the confusion, right?
So you're saying, so when Rock was talking about Babylon is America today, it's because there's a bunch of different tribes all in one together? That's why it is? So
that's one aspect of it.
One aspect, so can we say like Canada is a Babylon too as well?
Yes, an extension of Babylon. Because they go by the same principles of what the United States does.
And you remember you said it was one part of it. What's the other part of it?
Well, the other part of it is the philosophies that they follow. Because they go back
teaching.
to the teaching, ancient custom, Roman numerals, all of that is confusion.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Confusion by mixing race to be.
Something happened.
You know that scripture it says, they that drink of the wine of...
I'll find it.
You want to get that?
Drinking the wine?
Yeah, because, like Akio said here, yes, it's Babel and it's confusion. So the confusion is having many different cultures or many different races in one area because they all have different traditions and different customs, right? So when doing that, you're creating confusion. Really, in the olden days, you would have a nation that would have their own land and stay there, right? And they wouldn't let strangers go in. They let them pass by and forth. They wouldn't give them citizenship there.
Also, it's you have man being classified as woman.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And they're saying that's okay. Vice versa. They're saying it's okay. The so-called Jewish people suck a newborn's penis after a circumcision, so they're sucking it off with blood, right? So they're saying that's okay. So that's confusion because they're saying if you're the Lord's people, that's not nowhere in the Bible. So I'm confused. Is it wrong or is it right? We're saying it's wrong. There's no such custom that you suck the blood off a newborn's penis, right? Because he's Jewish. All right. They have like wrong caricature on like washrooms. So you go into a washroom and with your son, or send your daughter in there with your mom, and there's a grown man in there saying, I identify as a woman. You know what I'm saying? So that in itself is confusion. So everything with his place is confusion, man. Alright?
Because even when you go back in the law, according to circumcision, there's no part of a man sucking another man's rod. That's going on. So, and we shouldn't even be saying stuff like that, that's how foul that shit is.
Done.
Yeah.
Right? And on top of it, did Abraham do that to Isaac? No. So what law is that?
So this is Revelation chapter 14 and 8. And it says, and there followed another angel saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication.
So read that one more time.
Sure. So this is Revelation chapter 14 and 8. And there followed another angel saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication.
So that's what he was saying earlier. You know, everybody has followed the customs and ways of America. So Babylon has fallen, so she's been destroyed because she made the other nations drink of the wine of her cup. You know, personal thing is I was training one of my Elamite clients, and they were saying it's impossible to keep your customs when you come to Canada.
It's impossible to
To keep their customs, like for instance, they're supposed to have their turbans. They don't shave their beard from birth. They don't cut their hair from birth. But when you come to Canada, he was like, you're around so many different people who do whatever they want. It's impossible to keep your own customs from home.
That's right.
You know, so that's an example of that. And America is that on steroids. You know?
Well, in ancient time, when the Greeks were in power, they would make us, whoever else, to denounce their citizenship or nationality and take the citizenship of a Greek, right? So we couldn't even keep our customs, and they're known for that. That's why I know the same Elamite spirit, right? All these kingdoms mixed into one today is called Mystery Babylon, but it's now been exposed as America, right?
That's true, because you know what they'll do? You have a precept?
Yeah, to back them up. So this is 2 Maccabees chapter 4, verse 9. Beside this, he promised to assign 150 more, if he might have license to set him up a place for exercise and for the training up of the youth in the fashions of the heathen.
So you know what that can be likened to as to today is school. Right? From school, from what age do you enter into school? Primary, I think 5 years old is like kindergarten. So you spend the majority, 3/3 or 3/4 of your whole life in school. So you're being conditioned by the system.
It says, in the fashions of the heathen, and to write them of Jerusalem by the name of Antiochians, which when the king had granted and he had gotten into his hand the rule, he forthwith brought his own nation to the Greekish fashion. Going into what Brother Kazak was going into.
Hold on a second. That's 2 Maccabees what and what?
Chapter 4, verse 9 to 10.
So it's no different than now. It's like you come here, you have to denounce your nationality if you want to become a citizen. You have to go make an oath to the Queen, you know, and say I'm a Canadian and say some madness, right? And denounce and you even tell you, speak English, man, speak Canadian. Right? If you want to speak your own language, like especially like if you're like so-called Arab or whatever, say, oh, you're a ball played it. I think it's funny, right? And so you kind of want to speak English, you know what I mean? Because you feel embarrassed speaking your mother tongue.
Another thing is too, if you notice how business is condoned in this society, it's condoned through English and through wearing a suit. You can't go anywhere else and dress up in your own native, garments and do business. You have to do it in their way, their fashion.
The chimpanzee suit, they call it.
Yeah.
There's a song,
You know what? But they'll slap you.
No,
They'll
chimpanzee
say,
suits.
that's funny because what the brother's saying is true. They
Very true.
basically condition you to live their customs out. But this is a place that's supposed to call that people believe to be freedom.
Right. I know. Ironic.
Yeah, it's ironic.
irony.
They believe it's freedom, but it's just that you're being conditioned subconsciously. So you think if you're free, because as long as you want to do it, it's freedom. But you're already programmed to do it by your environment.
So okay, I have a question upon that note. Since we're talking on the court, you know how they say all arise and you have to bow before entering, leaving the court. Is that allowed with us? Like me personally, I don't think that's okay because I'm bowing down to someone else other than the Most High.
It's true, but you have to. Scriptures say that you have to be harmless as a dove and subtle as a snake.
And give it to Caesar.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Give
right?
it to Caesar what Caesar's.
Okay. You don't need to bow down to them. I rise up. Like there's people who they're not even they're doing the process. Like two people I know, they're a part of the court system, and they rise